Sessions is a wonderful program that Philharmonia, Baroque Orchestra and Chorale have. It gets us out of the concert hall into more informal venues. We can discuss intriguing ideas behind the music, lift the curtain a little bit and see what the composer might actually have been thinking about when he wrote this.
He overcame the difficulty of music being written from left to right and Hebrew from right to left by writing the music also from right to left. So you have to read music backwards and know Hebrew.
Only for the first 3 lines?
Yes.
After which it goes into Italian and it goes the other way around?
Yeah.
We've done nearly a dozen of these programs now on various topics. A lot of them take part in what we might call a series about the Jews and music.
This music would not have existed if it weren't for migration. We're talking about the 16th, 17th centuries with the creation of ghettos in Italy where migrant Jews were confined as a way to control their identities. If you look at some of these synagogues, they were actually presentational spaces. They were designed by non-Jewish architects to also include music that was often composed by non-Jewish composers who were hired by the Jewish communities to make the Jews sound understandable.
Many people think that sacred music in the Baroque period is entirely Christian, but there are other parts of the repertoire. There is a lot of music written for the synagogue in Venice and Mantua. Lidarti, for example, a non-Jewish composer, wrote an oratorio in Hebrew which was performed in the synagogue in Amsterdam. These aren't perhaps household names as composers, but it very much rounds out the picture that we should have about this period.
Jews had an art music. Until then, it was understood that Jews had a folk music and that their relevance to world culture may not have been as important. Musicologists became very happy. Jewish musicologists especially could prove that Jews had an art, a music, an identity, a reason to be and to contribute to the world.
You had a wonderful story about this particular movement, right?
It starts with the Christian chorale and then the cello comes in with what sounds to me much more like a cantor. Sounds much more Jewish. He's in G major, being Christian, and I'm in E minor, being Jewish. And then, but to my delight, in the last section of this movement, the piano is converted and plays the Jewish line. So I like this movement. And the cello also has 12 pizzicatos at the end that are supposed to be the 12 chimes of midnight.
Well, my pal Stephen Isserlis plays the cello, which is an instrument of great character, which is just as well because so is he. And it has been likened to the sound of a cantor, with lots of ornaments and very cantabile quality. We can think, of course, of Bruch's Kol Nidrei as an obvious example of a cello and a cantor. So far we've done 4 of these Jews and Music programs. Of course, it usually ends with a very nice party where the people taking part get to meet the audience, to break down some barriers and to have a really very good time.
The format is informal enough that you can really sort of feel like you're in the moment with the musicians.
I like the kind of a little bit more of a thread, a little bit more of a narrative than you usually get in a concert. A lot of participants stuck around and sort of that allowed you to kind of engage further with it in a way that's, you know, a nice addition to the normal concert format.
visual information was really stunning because all those beautiful synagogues, all this music were played was absolutely wonderful.
I learned that people who were Jewish were composing and writing music like hundreds of years ago.
And you don't really have to have a strong background or really know what's going on. You can kind of come and learn and enjoy the music at the same time.
One of the great things here is that Philharmonia Orchestra and Chorale is, I think, the only major orchestra that's actually doing a program like this, certainly in the United States, and perhaps even in the entire universe. To have this Jews in Music initiative, it's tremendously exciting, and I think it's really blazing a trail, and I'm so privileged to be part of it.